You get in-store products for in-store prices, and the only thing that isn't in store, you. That means you could order in-store products at in-store prices while you're in sweatpants, in spin class, in stuffy work meeting, in anywhere but in store. So download the app today and get $0 delivery fees on your first 3 orders. Instacart. Groceries that over-deliver. Service fees, exclusions, and terms apply.
Hi, this is Flora Lichtman, and you're listening to Science Friday. Today in the show, TikTok is shaping our understanding.
Present their own personal experiences as a size one-fit-all solution.
Find each other. And one of those communities has formed around ADHD. If you're a part of that TikTok world, you have probably seen dozens of videos like this.
5 less well-known ADHD behaviors with doodles. Let's go. Number 1, listening to the same song on repeat until you are sick of it.
Due to your mimicking spirit, you will find yourself absorbing others' accents.
Feeling that everyone hates you, they're secretly talking behind your back, that you're not good enough.
Sitting in your car for a really long time before you go into your house. And this is because ADHDers often struggle with switching tasks.
Our next guest noticed these videos popping up on her feed, and she decided to use her clinical psychology expertise to try to understand this phenomenon better. She analyzed the 100 most viewed TikTok videos about ADHD to assess how accurate they are and how young people respond to them. Here's my conversation from March of this year with Vasilia Karasava, PhD student in clinical psychology at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, Canada. Vasilia, welcome to Science Friday.
Hi, thank you for having me.
Okay, for those of us who are not on TikTok, just give us a taste of what these videos are like. Was that clip representative? Like, who's making them and what's the format?
It is pretty representative. So the people who make them, in our study, we found most of them spoke from their own personal experiences and very any training in clinical psychology or psychiatry or mental health in some related field. I think the goal for so many of these videos is for people to talk about what they've been experiencing in ADHD in a way that's cute and entertaining, and perhaps even if it doesn't match up with your ADHD.
So what made you want to take a closer look at this?
And the second author, who's also my friend, Caroline Miller, had found ourselves sending each other a lot of TikToks about ADHD. We are in an ADHD-related lab, so we found them interesting, and I think the algorithm picked up that we were sending them to each other, so they kept showing us more of these videos. And we kind of wanted to see if that's the average experience of the user, getting videos that are very cute and quirky and funny, but not really good representations of ADHD, or was it just us?
So when you analyzed these videos, what did you find?
Well, about half of them did not really match up the diagnostic criteria of ADHD. We found that a good chunk represented behaviors that are highly associated with ADHD, but are not really symptoms of ADHD, like difficulties in social relationships. And the reason why that's not a symptom in ADHD is because there are so many other things that are associated there, like your personality or your temperament. But by far the biggest bucket was things that are not associated with ADHD at all, or with any other mental illness, and are probably part of the human condition, like having a sweet tooth, or listening to the same song over and over, or liking a certain TV show a lot.
How good are people at discerning between videos that were accurate and those that aren't?
This is what we wanted to find in our second study, and we showed the top 5 and bottom 5 videos to about 800 young adults with or without ADHD. And we actually found that people who consumed a high diet of TikTok also found these TikToks more helpful or more accurate, more likely to recommend them.
They felt they were more trustworthy even if the information in the videos was not accurate?
That is correct, yes. And they felt worse about their own ADHD symptoms and assumed ADHD is more prevalent in the population than it actually is. I think that this is very akin to doom scrolling. Like, for example, it's probably really helpful to keep up to date with what's going on in the world. But how helpful is it to you to spend hours upon hours about everything terrible that's been going on all around the globe? you probably feel a little worse about yourself. And we're thinking that something similar might be happening here, where people reach a point where consuming more of this content about ADHD doesn't really help them understand their own experiences, and instead might make them feel worse about them.
I mean, these videos are really short and, they're interspersed with like cat videos and news analysis. Do you have suggestions for people on how to think more critically about them when they are served up? What should people do differently?
Yeah, the biggest one is if someone appears very confident, question them. Mental illness exists on a spectrum. It can appear differently on different people, especially something like ADHD. So when you have creators who present their own personal experiences as a size one fits all solution, this is kind of a red flag. And the second biggest red flag is to question people who in one breath are telling you, hey, you have this symptom and this is ADHD, and they're diagnosing you with something, and in the next breath are selling you a solution that apparently only they have get by the healthcare system.
Thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for your interest in our work.
Vasilia Karasava, PhD student in clinical psychology at the University of British Columbia in Vancouver, Canada. After the break, what does the flood of mental health content on social media mean for teens and the clinicians who treat them?
It's gotten to the point now where I actually go ahead and just ask them who they have been following online and if they've ever felt that they were similar to an influencer or someone online in a social media site.
Now to zoom out a bit, TikTok and other social media sites are full of mental health content, not just about ADHD. So what does this mean for teens who spend hours a day scrolling? What does it mean for clinicians practice? And how does the prevalence of these videos influence culture around mental health? Joining me now to talk through these questions and more is Dr. Jennifer Katzenstein, Director of Psychology, Neuropsychology, and Social Work, and co-director of the Center for Behavioral Health at Johns Hopkins All Children's Hospital, based in St. Petersburg, Florida. Jennifer, welcome to Science Friday.
Thanks so much for having me, Flora. It's a pleasure to be here.
How often are you seeing teens, or young people come in with a self-diagnosis they picked up from social media?
It's more frequent, certainly, than it ever has been before. When I see my preteen and teenage patients, it's gotten to the point now where I actually go ahead and just ask them who they have been following online and if they've ever felt that they were similar to an influencer or someone online in a social media site.
Really? It's changed your practice.
It's totally changed my practice. It has gotten me to ask the question up front.
I mean, is it a helpful shortcut for you, or is this more like this is helpful context for you?
It's both, honestly. I really need the context to know, and I think mental health is one of those things where we have so many spectrums of normal. And so is this a symptom that was just for a moment, or has this been lifelong? How does it impact everyday functioning? And then knowing where my child that I'm working with and their family is coming from, so that I can see what are they really already thinking? What have they even tried, right? Because so many times they've even gone down some of a treatment path without having a diagnosis too.
How often is that self-diagnosis correct?
Oh gosh, I would say more often than not, it's not correct. So, or it's within the spectrum of normal, right? There's a certain amount of anxiety that's normal, and that facilitates us for getting our homework done on time and studying for that test. And there's a certain amount of social anxiety that is normal too, and we just in these situations, and it's okay to withdraw. Is it impacting your daily functioning? Is it preventing you from doing previously enjoyed activities? Is it preventing you from engaging in the home or at school? That's when we kind of head to that diagnostic arena.
We asked our listeners to share stories about this phenomenon of sort of self-diagnosing through social media. Let's hear one of them.
Hi, my name is Courtney Sorrento. I'm from Buffalo, New York. My daughter was posting a lot on her social media about ADHD, and I kept saying, that's me. And so here I was in my 50s self-diagnosing, and so I brought it up to my physician, and I got a test, an official test, and I'm very strong ADHD. I never knew, and now I am getting treated for it and starting to improve my life, and so that actually turned out to be a happy ending.
Jennifer, is this something that you see? You know, you diagnose a kid and then the parents realize, oh, I think I have that condition.
Yeah, it's funny because it goes both ways. Sometimes I'll have a parent who happens to get a diagnosis, and that might be because of someone they saw on social media or in talking with their physician. And then they start to recognize those symptoms in their kid. And we really do see that go both ways. I think one of the amazing pieces of this story for me is really just how we've broken down the stigma surrounding mental health diagnoses as well, that everyone is starting to have more access.
And I find that every single time I'm going through the reels and I see one about this, every single time I walk away thinking for sure that I have autism.